We are back, continuing our conversation with newly elected State Senator Ted Lieu from the 28th Senatorial District. Senator, we talked about the budget in the first segment. Redevelopment is an important component of the governor's efforts to balance the budget, and there are strong arguments on both sides. Redevelopment agencies are good. They're not good because they move money around. Where do you come out on the redevelopment issue?
Well, so like many issues, it's not entirely black and white. So my first experience with redevelopment agencies, RDAs, was a good one. LA Air Force Base was on the verge of being closed and moved to Colorado. And so cities got together, used RDA funds, and basically through a land swap, helped LA Air Force Base rebuild itself to a brand new seismically safe base. And that kept the base here. And that base now generates about 65,000 jobs, $300 million of revenue back to the state in terms of income taxes. That was a great use of RDA funds. On the other hand, you see actions such as what the LA Redevelopment Agency recently took, where they gave $52 million to billionaire Eli Broad so that he could build a garage for his museum that's going to house his art collection. Now, folks look at that and go, that's probably a waste of taxpayers' money. And so clearly, there's reforms that need to be made. And I think that's where most stakeholders are, and I believe whether we eliminate it or not, it will be a reformed and reconstituted RDA going forward. And that's basically my view of it. It's a good thing, but you need to reform it.
But the governor is proposing they be eliminated.
Yes,
and you do not support total elimination of it.
So there's a legal nuance to this. Proposition 22 has made it so that we really can't reform it. Either we keep it or we eliminate it, and then we reconstitute a new one. And so I am committed to having a local investment tool for cities, whatever you call that, and that is my goal.
The tax extension, which the governor is proposing for the June 7th ballot, you already said you support that tax, and you support allowing the people to weigh in on whether they want it.
Absolutely.
Would that require a 2/3 or just a majority vote?
For the people to pass the tax extension, it would be just a majority vote. Correct.
Pension reform, of course, is a hot issue, and it's probably an idea whose time has come, in fact, probably long overdue, I might add. Democrats have heavy labor support. I think you do also. Tell us your view on the need for pension reform.
So I support pension reform. I think there are clearly abuses of the system, such as with RDAs. There's good things for and bad things. So in terms of the general issue of pensions, you have had people abuse it through pension spiking, through really excessive pensions that they get after they retire. And I think everyone is on board to try to clamp down. Now, the legal problem, right, with reforming pensions for people that already have them is there are court cases and federal laws that say if you modify someone's vested pension, you have to give them something of comparable value in return. And so the state's not really going to save very much money doing that. But for new hires, you can absolutely reform the system.
But
so
new hires won't, I'm told, really solve the problem. We need to do something about existing pensions, not to change benefits of those that are receiving it, but current workers who came in being promised X, and we can't afford X anymore because states and municipalities and others are going broke. We need to move X down to something lower.
I agree with you. I think it depends on whether they vested or not. I think that's the issue. But there's also sort of a myth out there, at least in terms of the state. The state CalPERS pension fund is in the immediate short term fine. It's not that the state is also paying a huge amount of money to CalPERS and it's taking from the general fund. That's not what's going on. It's sort of a long-term projection that says, okay, if your rates of return don't rise high enough, then you might face some problems. So it's not really a short-term. For instance, we can do all the pension reform we want. It won't help us balance our immediate $25 million budget.
That's true, but the guy in the street in private industry who does not have a secure job, who doesn't have a defined benefit pension plan, and may lose his job next week, and many have, resents appropriately a class of citizens called, quote, public employees that do very good work but have secure jobs and very wealthy pensions and health benefits. There's a sense of unfairness.
There is, and I don't disagree with some of what you said. However, if you actually look at public sector wages compared to the private sector and you control for education, in general, public sector workers make less. But in return, they get more generous pensions and they get benefits. And so what you're seeing now, right, is folks that don't have pensions feeling bad about those that do.
Or jobs.
Or jobs. And I completely understand that.
And people are living longer. And a lot of people are collecting pensions for longer than they worked.
That's correct. That's
and
why
now they're actually getting more money because when combined with Social Security, they actually have more dollars per month than they did when they were working, and they're getting that pension for a longer period of time. Strikes a lot of us as unfair.
Absolutely.
And I'm, just for the record, a public employee. I've taught at the university many years, and I contributed, the university contributed, and we get a nice pension. We didn't get rich, but we get a pension. So I don't want to be criticizing the hand that feeds me or whatever the...
No, I absolutely believe there needs to be pension reform.
Okay.
It's just which class of employees does it affect?
Okay, more with the senator after these messages. We're back with Senator Ted Lieu. Senator, the economy is so important to everything. What do we do here in California to get this economy moving and to create jobs and tax revenue?
Well, we've got to transform California's economy. We're not going to compete here in California making T-shirts. It's not going to happen. We are not a low-cost state, and we never will be. It's going to be in those industries where we have a competitive advantage, things that we can do that other countries or other states can't.
Like?
Such as aerospace, Silicon Valley, we've got Hollywood, we've got agriculture, we have ports. So Kansas, for instance, will never have a port like Long Beach. It will never happen. So if we can increase trade and tourism, that's something we can compete well in California. The F-18 fighter jet is made in El Segundo. That will never be made in China. And so if we can incentivize these industries where we have some value that we can add to a product or service, that's how we compete going forward.
And what about the argument that raising taxes is a disincentive to business and they move to Arizona, Texas, you name it?
So generally, I'm against raising taxes. Just keep in mind what Jerry Brown has proposed is a tax extension of current rates. Now, businesses also rely on a workforce and intellectual capital. And when I was a chair of the Aerospace Committee, Select Committee in the Assembly, there was this interesting workforce hearing I did where Raytheon came up and they said, you know, we don't lose sleep at night because of increased taxes or regulation. We lose sleep at night because we can't fill our positions.
Wow.
And you have this mismatch between the workforce that a lot of these companies need. Boeing, for instance, a few years ago said we've got 100 open slots on any given day that we can't fill. And so we need to realign our curriculum, our education, so that we provide the workforce we need for the 21st century.
It always struck me about California that one of its unique strengths is its creativity. And three of the most creative industries in the world are located here, and I don't think it's an accident. Hollywood, of course, movies and television are pure intellectual. Whatever you think of the product, it's pure intellectual. The Silicon Valley is pure intellectual property. And something that I didn't know, auto design is based here. And it seems that there's something in the air, the water, or the topography, or the openness of California that fosters creativity.
That plus our educational system, right? Yes. We had great UCs and CSUs, and those are hard to replicate in many places.
Now, I teach here at CSU Long Beach,
right?
And the cuts keep coming.
Yes.
Are we in danger of destroying something that's so important by these cuts to education?
Absolutely. That's why we need to pass tax extensions to provide the revenues we need on a going forward basis. And if we want to transform our economy, we need a highly educated workforce.
Because a lot of people feel that the availability of high quality, low cost higher education, or education generally, is key and has been key to the economic miracle called California.
Oh, absolutely. Sorry about that. Absolutely. And we're in danger of losing that if we don't align, again, our curriculum and our workforce needs with what companies need. Because if they can't get the workforce here in California, they will move.
So you would be a strong supporter of education?
Oh, absolutely. And it really, to me, it's not a luxury. It is critical for our economic future.
We have a minute or so left, Senator, and it's yours to say what you would like to the to your constituents and to the viewers in our 40 cities.
Oh, well, I just want to, first of all, thank you. What the press does in educating people is a tremendous benefit to the constituents. And also, I want to say that, you know, we are in tough times in California, but we will get out of it. And the question now is, do we want to lead or follow when we get out of it? And I think we can transform the economy, create and retain jobs, and really focus on those things where we can compete well in California in the future.
Well said. We'll be back with the remaining portions of Straight Talk after these messages.
Welcome to McKenna's on the Bay, where fine dining is complemented with a breathtaking view. McKenna's is a restaurant of incredible ambiance, providing service and cuisine with style, class, and romance. The menu offers a variety of appetizers, serious seafood, prime steaks, an oyster bar, and specialty entrees for either lunch or dinner. McKenna's on the Bay features patio dining, nightly entertainment, and 2 banquet facilities. No matter what your occasion, McKenna's on the Bay is like being on vacation. Join us today at McKenna's on the Bay.
Founded in 1976, Polly's Gourmet Coffee is Southern California's most complete gourmet coffee store. Polly's has the best tasting coffee, freshly roasted every day right in the store, plus a wide selection of teas, an in-house bakery, espresso bar, patio dining, and more. We also offer Wi-Fi, free internet access for all of our customers. Our nationwide clientele agree, when it comes to coffee, there's only one name to remember: Polly's. 4606 East 2nd Street, welcoming you into Belmont Shore.
Take care of those who are closest to you, from our family to yours. McCarty's Jewelry, since 1932.
How do you like your chances the rest of the way?
I got no idea. But I do know that if we stay with Naples Rib Company, well, at least we won't go hungry.
Coach, what do you think about some of those questionable calls tonight?
Oh, yeah. But if you want a sound call, I'd call Naples Rib Company. You can't miss on that call.
Then Naples Rib Company is part of your game plan?
There really is nothing more motivating than a great barbecue meal at Naples Rib Company.
Victory or not, Naples Rib Company, great game plan.
Senator Ted Lieu, who's been our guest for the last half hour, has a compelling personal story. He came to America with his family at the age of 3, immigrating from Asian lands, Taiwan. He attended Stanford, went to Georgetown Law School, graduated magna, editor-in-chief of the Law Review, served in the United States Air Force in the JAG program, and now has, again, is serving in elective office. And those are the kind of people that we like to encourage to go into public service. And you heard earlier some of Ted's views on foregoing salary raises and declining certain benefits. So Ted, congratulations on your personal story. It's an only in America type story.
Thank you. That's why I love this state and love this country.
And thank you so much for joining us here on Straight Talk. We hope you'll come back.
I will. Thank you.
Okay. And thank you for being our guest. Please join us next week for the next edition of Straight Talk. Good night, everybody.
Straight Talk has been brought to you by Southern California Edison, the Press Telegram, and remember, Straight Talk is viewable worldwide 24/7 at straighttalktv.com.